Another young mother, life cut tragically short, brutally murdered by a Somalian immigrant who was residing in Dublin but moving up to Belfast to see his so called partner, who he brutally killed. Mary Ward, killed in Belfast last October. I think it's important that people know the details of this case. I'm going to show you some news report from when this originally happened last October. We'll fill you in on some of the details of it. But another young lady dead, and another child left motherless as a result of violence committed by a migrant from Somalia, whether he was fleeing war or running for his life from something else. He ended up in Ireland, he ended up in Dublin, he ended up in Belfast. And this lady, this young lady, Mary Ward, you can see in the picture here, is now no longer alive because of him. Just the headline reads, serious mental health issues. Here we go. Always the mental health card being played, or the intoxication card being played. I don't remember what I did card being played. Maybe legitimately, maybe not. But either way, we have it here in this case. Serious mental health issues in the case of a man accused of murdering his partner. The court is told Ahmed Abdirahman, age 31, is still awaiting admission to the Central Mental Hospital and a diagnostic clarification is required before he can be assessed by an external psychiatrist. So let me get this right. He still is waiting admission to a mental hospital, and a diagnostic clarification is required before he can be assessed. What an absolute mess of red tape and nonsense. Waiting admission, needs assessed, has to be diagnosed. All at the taxpayer's expense, of course, just to add insult to injury. Let's hear the details about this case as it broke last October, just very briefly, and we'll look at his mental health situation.
A 31-year-old man has appeared in court in Dublin, charged with the murder of Mary Ward in Belfast over 2 weeks ago. The body of the 22-year-old mother of one was found at her home on Melrose Street in the city.
The body of 22-year-old Mary Ward was discovered in her home on Melrose Street in Belfast almost a week after she was last seen. A murder investigation was launched earlier this week, and Ahmed Abdirahman of Kinlay House, Dame Street in Dublin 2 was brought before Dublin District Court this morning. Garda Sergeant James King from the Garda National Bureau of Criminal Investigation gave evidence of arrest, charge and caution. He said Mr Abdirahman was arrested at around 9:30 yesterday evening in Kevin Street Garda Station and charged in his presence at 10 p.m. with the murder of Mary Ward. Garda Sergeant King said when the charge was put to him under caution, the 31-year-old replied, "Not guilty."
Not guilty. Not guilty. He didn't need an assessment for that. He was obviously compos mentis enough to realise that he'd been charged with murder, and he's pleading not guilty. And now we're told there's psychiatric issues. It also mentions that this young lady it was a week before she was last seen, and then she was found in her house. I don't know the background behind that, but how horrific is that? Gone missing for a week and then found dead. And what about the child? Mother of a young child. Child's not mentioned. Just horrific. Kid has to grow up now with no mum because of this savage. Was allowed to enter Ireland and move freely between Dublin and Belfast from Somalia.
Solicitor for the accused, Wayne Kenny, didn't make a bail application because bail can't be granted in the district court for a charge as serious as murder. But Mr. Kenny told the judge that he would be making a bail application in the High Court as soon as possible. He did apply for legal aid and this was granted.
Bail application, these solicitors, these lawyers, knowing what this guy has been accused of, trying to get him out on bail, and legal aid has been granted. Legal aid granted, you're paying for it. His detention costs, you're paying for it. While he waits and gets admitted for psychiatric assessment, you're paying for it. Same thing with this savage from the Parnell Street or Parnell Square stabbings, those children, waiting detailed forensic, psychological, psychiatric evaluations. I know what would, anyway, don't start me.
Judge William Aylmer remanded the 31-year-old in custody to Clover Hill Prison to appear before court again on the 18th of October via video link. Diane.
So that was last year. So now this is coming to the fore. So he's waiting to be assessed now by an external psychiatrist. There's quite a serious issue related to mental health in the case of a Somalian national accused of the murder of his former partner, Ahmed Abdirahman, still waiting admission. He's originally from Somalia with a last address at Kinlay House, 4 Lord Edward Street, Dublin. How does a young girl like this, a young lady like this, end up with a savage like that? Terrible. He needs to be assessed, said Mr. Justice Paul McDermott. Mr. Abdirahman, originally from Somalia, is accused of murdering the young mother last September at her house. Don't know if the kid was there or not. Let's hope not. At the Central Criminal Court, Counsel Defence Oisin Clark said there were a number of issues with the case, with the accused's mental fitness to plead to be determined by the court. Well, his mental fitness was okay to get him from Somalia to Dublin. He was lucid enough to get from Somalia to Dublin. He was in his accommodation in Dublin. He was lucid enough to make his way up to Belfast. He was lucid enough to be able to strike up a relationship with Mary Ward, to travel up. And after he had allegedly committed the murder, he was fit enough to make his way back down to Dublin again. Didn't have any issues then, moving around. His brain was functioning enough to get him from A to B, to C to D, to E to F to G, and back to A again. Mr. Clark replied the defence had also been encountering difficulties even during consultations with the accused, as there had been a lack of engagement. Lack of engagement? He didn't have a lack of engagement with Mary Ward. Didn't have a lack of engagement with this young Belfast mother. Didn't have a lack of engagement when he was moving from Somalia to Ireland, and from Ireland to from Dublin to Belfast and back to Dublin again. Must have been communicating with people to tell him where they wanted to go. No lack of engagement there, but lack of engagement when he's being put up on a murder charge. All of a sudden, there's a lack of engagement. Wonder what we could do to make him engage more. Maybe there's some way we could, some treatment that could be used, some highly specialized treatment that could be used on this specimen to get him to be more engaging. Mr. McDermott said the accused had been diagnosed appropriately and remains on the waiting list, that a diagnostic clarification is required, meaning the Central Mental Hospital must receive the accused and do what they can. before an external psychiatrist. You ever seen that movie, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest? Yeah, there's things you can do to people. I'm thinking maybe we could do the same to this savage. Mr. Clark said there was jurisdictional issue in the case as the alleged offence occurred in Northern Ireland, meaning the accused must be given the option to be tried there. This matter was adjourned until 23rd of July. This is the same as this Babatunde case. You remember him? The Nigerian that was unalived outside a Dublin nightclub in February. About 9 people have been arrested as a result of that, all from all over the place, originating in Nigeria, coming to Balbriggan. Somebody's been arrested from memory, and they could be facing trial up in Belfast because that's where he was arrested. Just a complete mess. How about prevention being better than cure? Eh? How about that? Prevention is better than cure. How about we police our borders? How about we be careful about who's being let into the country? No more spongers or chancers being let in. But anyway, what do I know? I'm just reporting what I see. If you like it, it's a little bit depressing if the truth be told. But when I say if you like it, if you appreciate it, cut and paste the link, drop it into other groups, Facebook groups, share it on your social media pages. Do whatever you want with it. When I produce it, do whatever you want with it. And leave a comment below. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Hit the notification bell. You'll get a little notification either by email or maybe even a text message to your mobile phone if I produce content. But if you're familiar with the channel, I'm doing that 6 days a week anyway, usually twice a day. So you maybe don't need notifications, but I'm just saying the options there if you want to take it. And for now, I'm Rick Munn. This is No Risk, No Reward Media. Over and out.